All right, people, in this video plan, I'm going to be talking about the bearish plan for GS and NVDA. The key here, people, is that let's see if these stocks can confirm to the downside, as is in my opinion, these have a great time frame alignment, sorry, to go lower. However, they need to confirm, and if they cannot confirm, that could be a sign of the market wanting to bounce. Like I explained in my Tesla, I made the SPY, Tesla, and Apple explanation of why the SPY would bounce. There are bullish setups. However, I've also seen this before, that even though I see a lot of bearish setups, they're not able to confirm. Now, if they can confirm, obviously they're going to slow down the bullish setups, okay? But let's talk about the bearish setups. This is the only way to succeed in the market is not to guess and to take the signals that are present. So, if, for example, bearish setups want to work, we take those, and if bullish setups want to work, we would take those. But the fact of the matter is the market is still in a bullish chop zone, and that is the facts. I'm not going to say, oh, it's going to go down, and no. We're waiting for confirmation. It's very different following me, Power Trick Trade Sandro here. On StockTwits or on a YouTube channel. But let's talk about this plan here. GS looks, we're going to first talk about GS, then we're going to talk about NVDA. So listen carefully to this video. GS looks very bearish and should be able to test 210 to the 200-day moving average, the 203 area. The April 21 220 puts could be used. So this is some quick trade that could happen. I think if this is going to act correctly, it should have a good, decent, quick fall where we're able to make some money on the options. You should always take profits on your options. So for example, if it's moving well, you take 100% gains always quickly. If things are slow and you're up 50%, you may want to take the gains then and then hold some runners. You got to be quick with options, okay? If I trade this, I'm going to trade the weeklies, because if this is going to push down, it's going to push. If it's not going to push, you're just wasting time in it, okay? But I will post if it confirms or not. GS needs to break below 221 on some good action volume. But I want you to understand what I'm doing, by the way. So, good action volume is 400K on a 10-minute chart. So, I will be explaining some more key important facts that I will be looking for in the video. Now, the problem with GS is that if we were to open up and they gap down to the 221, you've got to look at especially in the first 10 minutes, the opening price. For example, if they open the opening price, whatever it is, let's say they open it at 222, that becomes the pivot point, okay? In order for this trade to work, we need the correct action from the pivot point. For example, if they open it at 222 or 221 and a half, it appears to be down. But if they are traveling up, in other words, they open it but it's at 220, that's up from the pivot point. This must not, you only must take this trade if we remain below the pivot point of the open. Okay, so the pivot point of the open, and the same thing for NVDA, but I'm going to talk about that, okay? Let's go take a look at, we're going to go take a look at the options later. Let's go take a look at the NVIDIA plan. Oh, sorry, so before I go to the NVIDIA plan, so basically, we want it to be below 221, and you has to do that with the pivot point being below, the price being below the pivot point of the open that I just explained. And if not, you want to see basing below that level and look for weakness towards, if we don't get the volume, but you do get the right action, then you want to make sure that there's some basing below 221 and power towards 220 and a half to 220 even, okay? Because this thing here can fall very quickly. They can make good moves. See, this is a directional move. This is what I want. I don't want the chop up and down, which can happen. So, because with weekly options, we need certain actions, and I know what to look for, and that's what has to happen for GS. All right, so now we're going to take a look at NVDA plan. And, this plan here, it's something that I posted, but they chopped this down lower like this. And this was slow paced. Option wise, I did not like it. It started looking good more towards the end of the day. But I focused on something like FedEx on that day. And I didn't focus on NVIDIA. But in theory, it's still perfectly well, because we'll talk about this now in the plan. So this is a bearish, and this still looks very bearish, but it's been kind of choppy, very slow to the downside. And for options, they're not good. It hasn't been good, but you never know. And again, this is why am I posting this plan? Because if this can't confirm, that's actually pretty good for the market as well. Right? When bearish plans can't, I keep talking about bearish and bullish plans. When the bearish ones can't confirm, and the bullish ones are confirming. Sometimes they both confirm. Sometimes the bearish plans will confirm, and so will the bullish ones. Right? This is why you have a mixed market. But let's just see what happens. The reason why I'm posting NVIDIA is I think this stock should go down, and so should Goldman Sachs. But can they confirm? Is the question here, right? I really don't care which way they go. I don't want to. I don't like this long. This is a short stock. That's as simple as that, right? Until it proves itself, it's a short stock. So NVDA can test 90 or even the 200-day moving average here. The 95 April 21 puts could be used if this can confirm. These options really they've become actually cheaper, even though this has been going down because of the velocity has been too weak. But you never know. They could pop this sucker down, right? The key is having a good plan of action. All right. So NVDA needs to break below 95 on some good action volume, and good action volume is 1 million on a 10-minute chart. I'll be explaining some detailed facts about the entry. So the same thing happens here. If NVDA happens to open up 95, right? In the first 10 minutes, what we want to see is how do they act of the pivot. So for example, sometimes stocks open lower, but they're traveling to the upside. We don't want that. We want it to confirm by it also moving below the pivot of the open. So the open is a pivot point, and this will be a rule of mine. When you're shorting stocks, the open is a pivot point because sometimes they gap them down, and if the price is good, either we're buying it on volume and price or by price action. So if the price action is correct based on what I just explained about the open, and we crack below 95, that's a good time. If not, we want basing below 95 and look for power towards 94.5 to 94. It's not going to matter as long as the price action is correct. These options will make a lot of money because they could drop this quickly. However, they might be playing games by opening and the price action is above the pivot, even though it's lower. You don't want to short that. You want to short below the pivot with the right kind of action happening, neither through price action or through the volume. And I have to see that action. There's no way to. This is why I have a plan in action. I know that if it does what I'm saying, that'll be a high probable trade to make money in puts for this, and we can make a lot of money. These puts, they'll go 200% on a 5-point move still. So it doesn't matter that this is lower, but this is lower with a strong confirmation. You're going to make money with the puts. All right, so here we're at the Yahoo Finance, and you can see that Goldman Sachs closed April 13th at 223.32. Right here, that's the close. And then we'll go to the options very quickly. This page is working now. And I said, what did we say here? The 220 puts. Okay, so we scroll down to the 220 puts, and you can see the trading really good. You got good. There's a good tight spread here. That's a 5-cent spread. There's good open interest in this as well. So these are good. These could make a lot of money. And for reference purposes, that's what they're costing right now. Let's go take a look at NVIDIA now. All right, so here we have NVIDIA 95.49 on April 13th close, down 182. April 21, go down to the puts here. And here you got the 95 puts, right? You can see, look at this. Look at this here, right? These are up still, by the way, from the prior plan, but not much money. Do you know why? Because they chopped this too slowly down. And with options, it's no good. For option players, now, what's the advantage of an option player? An option player, we can buy a lot of options. Like, a lot of people, a lot of these guys who think they're so great in shorting, they can't short more than 100 shares, right? There's no way. You know how much it costs to short 100 shares of NVIDIA, 100 shares of Tesla, 100 shares of Apple? You add it up, okay? And most people, they can't do that. Now, I know this is why what I'm trying to do is help any account size, okay? But with options, anybody can do this. You can buy 2 options, 10 options, 20 options, 30 options. But if you can catch a good directional move, you're making money really quickly. What you always should be doing is taking profits along the way. If you have two options, you should be you should be taking profits and then holding the runner. You cannot you got to take profits along the way. That's the beauty of it. So if someone's who buys 20 options, you should be taking 10 off and holding 10 for runners. You should never hold the whole position because it's options and price action and all that. And that's another thing I'm going to get into. But I'm just saying that options are are very powerful if you use it correctly. Anyways, that's the price for NVIDIA, 120 right now. Obviously, this is going to cost more on confirmation if it can confirm this week. If it can confirm. If it doesn't matter, we can always use another weekly option. And every week we just go to the next week with a new plan. With options, we need a directional move. We get the directional move. We're talking about 100% gains. Okay, that's on the low end of things. I tend to look for 100% gains to 300% gains. But 100% is 100%. 50% is 50%, right? I've gotten 50% gains in Tesla, sometimes very short, and I don't like the action. I take the 50% and then I hold the runner, and if it doesn't work out, I just break even on one. But at least I took 50%. You understand? With options, you have to be quick. You have to know what you're doing. But my plans catch these moves. Okay, it's nothing. It's very different than trading shares. You have way more leverage with options. You can trade bigger, more expensive stocks. Alright people, if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, Power Target Trades, I suggest you subscribe. A lot of great videos are here. A great way to find a lot of things in one place because you might miss it. Anyways, there's a lot of great links on here, like my website and Power Target Trade on StockTwits, where I offer updates and confirmation. Follow Power Target Trade, visit daily for of course the video plans on Power Target Trades, right? Confirmation is key. Study the videos, people. Exactly like I'm saying. Like I'm telling you facts. I know what I'm looking for, and we don't want to guess nothing. We want a confirmation. So see the center of Power Target Trade? It's going to appear here at the end of the video here in a circle format. Simply click on it. It's going to give you an easy way to subscribe. Thanks for listening. Like the video.